to another high-powered episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado. Joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. King James Stall Cup, coming there live over there from old Dallas, Texas, in the old Longhorn country. Giving old hook 'em horns from the Mile High City. Appreciate you putting this together, King James. And dude, as always, I have so much fun doing these. So much fun. It looks like we already have David Engelhart in here. Mr. E is fired up tonight. He is ready to go, man. Man. I saw that, and yeah, dude, we are code nerding it out tonight, man. So, yeah, we don't know what got into you either, you know? But, I think from a fellow nerd standpoint, I could see your pain. And then look who already popped in, ready to try to get revenge on the quiz. Dude, I think he's lost 2 in a row, hasn't he?
He lost 2 and then won 1.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he cheated last week.
Oh, right.
We had to go to sudden death. Is what it
all right. I have a really good tiebreaker if that just happens to be. And like I say, just so people know, if you join the Willie Quiz and you tie King James, you get an auto win. I made that rule, and it's pretty fun. I think that there's been a lot of cheating and a lot of rigged statements for King James, but I think it makes it fun for all the people out in the chat that they have a chance to go up against the most knowledgeable trivia member that I have tricked as much as possible to lose as much as possible and favor our people in the chat. And I try to get King James. I try to mislead him. I try to put bullshit answers in there. And it's really fun. So
I do have an update. I forgot. We'll be here in February. I'm going through the questions now, so who won the death match.
Okay.
So it's taken me a little bit because I'm working on today. I didn't get to work on any of the online stuff because I have 2 cases I'm working on right now that are just they're needing this. I need this, and just and I've got to go for a depot next week, and then the next week I got another depot. Like, God dang, man, just one thing after another, but it's cool.
Yeah, so King James posts up there his Learn Worlds link. So I've been just bombarded by people asking about different kinds of training programs they could take to like pass the masters, to pass the journeyman, to pass your test. Dude, this is the best. And he has a lot of free stuff in there to show you kind of what he brings to the table. And dude, I loved it. I loved it since I first took your class in 2020. Everyone out there just know that King James came clean on those code changes he jipped me on in 2020. And we're square now. And now everyone gets the PDF free code change publication with purchase of a continuing education class. So I'm there for the people out there. I'm out there to try to help you guys out. I'm there for the little guy. Going to taking it against the man, King James, and getting what people deserve. So I appreciate you, and it was a really long-standing joke that we've done for a long time, and it was really fun that you played along with it, and we just had a good time doing it. And
well, I have one thing I want to do because we've had probably about, I think, got pretty close to 70 people on the site that are signed on and everything, but they haven't checked anything. That I guess they're not sure how to get there. So I want to take just a little bit to show everybody where to go because it's very simple and doesn't cost you anything to go check out what we're doing and all that stuff. But this will give everybody a quick idea so you can sort of see what it looks like. Let me put it on full screen.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
When you come over here, this is for the code change publication. But if you scroll down right to the next one, you'll see that we tell you here, take a test drive. Go check it out. It's free. It's I did just a few of the slides in there. We're now chapter 1 is completely done for state license and everything. And just chapter one, with the extras that went in, it ended up being 49 slides. We already have 8 hours put in there. So we're getting pretty close. I'm hoping here by the end of February getting through two, because that's a big one. It's like 60 something. And that's going to get us pretty close to 18, 19 hours. And then I'm just a little bit away. I'll get through chapter three probably in March and getting it all put together and everything. Then I'll be ready to start submitting for like Colorado, because they're coming up in September for 24 hours. But the difference, let me go over here and show you, because I'm going to tell you.
So one thing I want to mention too, King James, is a lot of people get freaked out about these free trial things because you have to enter a credit card.
No credit
And
cards.
and that's one big thing that people get freaked out about. If he wanted a credit card, he'd ask you before you even joined in the first place.
Sure would. Well, we don't ask for any. The only time you had to put a credit card information in is if you're actually purchasing something.
Right.
And one of the things I'm starting to notice, a lot of people like the monthly, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But when you come over and you look at this right here, it takes you to what I call the intro page, and this is where you come in, and it allows you to go in and go straight to the course. So you'll have it right down here, and all you're going to do is hover about above where it says interactive online course. You just click it; it's going to take you straight to the page. And when you come over and you look at this page, everything is really, really sharp looking. And the difference between this and the state license, this and you actually go through, and I'm just going to show y'all some stuff here, just to show you we put a lot of time and effort into what we're doing here. It's not that well. But we're doing the definition for an impedance bonding jumper. Okay? Anything you see in green, that's all in text. And then we give you a little comment. But the other thing we did down here is we've written a lot of additional information for you to think about. Okay? So we go in and we talk about the definition that has taken place, a little bit of additional information that we felt was necessary. Then we talk about the definition as it relates to the fault curve. And we talk about the tables that are used by the guidelines and everything you need to look at. And then we talk about the terminology here, what is the primary term and what is the ultimate preferred term. And then we give a little table here for some additional information for like impedance device. When you're looking at inspection requirements and you do regular checks to ensure compliance and safety, you need to look at OSHA 1910-303. You're not going to get this type of information from anybody else. And then
So let me ask you. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but let me just ask a quick question. Like, is there like a definition? Is it a defined term of impedance device?
Not for impedance device. It's
Okay.
it's for an impedance bonding jumper.
Oh, okay.
And then what we did is we took and added stuff here. And when you're really looking at impedance devices and you're looking at how to use those to limit fault current to protect your equipment, you need to go over and look at 70E.
So that would be like an NGR, a neutral ground resistor.
Yeah,
Would that be an impedance?
yeah,
device?
it clears the fault quickly. That's what
Gotcha.
an impedance device is.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, what I want to point out here is when this goes to a state license, right after this table, there's going to be a setup here, and it took. We were iced over this weekend, so I spent about 22 hours trying to figure out how to write this to work within this program. Because there's different codings and stuff, so there's a lot of research I had to do. But I was able to finally figure out how to take and put a timer after this. So everything that is right here is going to have a 2-minute timer that'll be submitted to the state. So you will not even be able, you're not even permitted to move forward and click the continue button until you get right here and to the table. You got to watch that for 2 minutes. Then I have another timer that is going to be down below this one right here, and it'll be 2 minutes also. So you'll have all this where you can spend time going in and seeing all the different information we put in here that you need to look at. So, like if you don't see that table real good, then what you can do is you can come here and, well, I don't have it in there yet. You click on that and it'll open up. I haven't updated the new one yet. I did it on the other one.
Okay.
Okay. So you can see then after you get through the time and then you hit continue and it'll allow you to go to the next one. And this is where the video audio portion is going to be. And it'll start automatically. And as you're going through this, you can click through here and it'll stop and then it'll start playing again. Code change. Okay. Now this will be set up at 5 minutes because most of the videos are right at 4 minutes, but some of them go 6, 7, 8 minutes. But if you reviewed all that other information before, you don't have to worry about it. Then after that 5 minutes up, you'll be able to come in and go to the question. And before you can move on, you have to answer this question correctly with a state license. And then it'll allow you to go to the next section.
And I really like that about your 2020 because a lot of people just take that text verbatim and then that's in the question, and you didn't do that. I really like that because it was really cool because, for one, I thought it was really cool because you might be able to just guess it and get through it, and it's not gonna like make you fail the course. But it's better if you actually have the 2026 code book and you actually know what section you're in because that's the section you're talking about, and so it's real easy to find. And you're real easy to find the answer. And I love that about what I took your 2020. I love that about your 2020 because the answer's right there. It's real super simple. You know right where it is. If you're following along with what you're going along with, you know it's going to be in, let's just say 314 because you're talking about outlet boxes.
I will say this, when people see this, this will be the most detailed update license class you've ever taken.
I agree.
And I guarantee it. And these are some examples of the illustrations, but the other one I wanted to show is we have another one. You just scroll down a little further, and this is, on 2023, this is just designing wiring methods. So you just click here, it takes you to the same intro page, and right here, you'll see we got the publication set in here just for designing wiring methods if you want to look at that. But I want to go look at the online interactive course. Now, when you come over and look at this, now, one of the things I want to point out that's going to be really, really freaking awesome when all this starts taking place is you can connect with other learners that have taken this. You can come in here, you can discuss, do whatever post you want. You can even do like a multiple choice that you want people to ask questions. You can set up polls. You can put pictures in here. I mean, there's just all kinds. You can upload documents here if you're an instructor. And that's another good point. If you're an instructor and you have, say, 20 people in your class and you want this particular class, but only your students to have access, we can set it up to where I'll clone this and relabel it and everything. And only your students and you will be able to converse back and forth in this course. Nobody will be able to purchase it or even see it.
Yeah, and that's really cool that we have people like David Engelhardt coming in here. Dude, we have so much fun having you jump in, or David, and I learn a lot every time we do these, and tickle King James's funny bone, and dude, yeah, you do make me smile. The one thing you do have to kind of watch out for, though, is that every course gets relabeled Willie Jackerson's Badass Course. So you don't have a choice on what you call it. It's still going to be Willie Jackerson's Badass Course. So
yeah, and what's going to be interesting is when I set it up and everything, you're going to have to go through each one of them straight through before on a state license before you can even get to it. So there will be like 3 chapters probably of the code. Everything from chapter 1, 2, and 3 will get submitted to the state. And I think I'll get pretty close to 24 hours. I may have to go into chapter 4. But before you can get to chapter 2, you got to go through all chapter 1, and you'll have to click through every one of them. So to get through one slide, you got to do 1, 2, 3. There's 4 interactive things that have to take place before you can even move forward to the next.
Oh, dude, I just heard about
Oh,
this. David makes a good point. There's a thing called Cassie on NFPA Link, and it's like their new AI that like links in with NFPA and with Link and
I've seen
all
it.
their stuff. So yeah, we're gonna have to do. Maybe we could actually change some man versus machine. Maybe I'll try to see if you could go up against Cassie. See,
Yeah.
like that'd be cool too.
Well, one of the cool things is the way that we're designing everything with this. We're putting a ton of extra information in for you to follow. But like if you're doing designing work, now I also forgot to tell you, over here on the left-hand side, you'll see this pop up that you can go through any of this you want to go through. Okay, that's up to you. You can move forward, whatever, but we gave you a floating bar over here on the side. And then like this, and we're doing a square box, and you can see we give you an example problem, how to do it. We give you all the table information, the sections where the information come from. And then when you get down here, we've set this up, and to help you further this, we tell you about all the different conductor fields. So if you want to go in and read it again and figure out what you need to do, you want to see what is the requirements when I'm getting into equipment grounding conductor field. We have that information in here. And then you just come up here and you work this. Okay.
Sure.
Now, I will tell you, you're not going to see this in any other courses. And we're going to have this all through our training and learning programs that we're putting together. But as an example, I'm doing different size conductors here. Okay. I've got two number 12 hots. Okay. How am I going to determine what the cubic inch fill is for each one of those conductors? Well, if you come over here, you'll see we got an NEC loop
Is
for you
that
to
a couple
follow.
cable clamps in there? Looks like a couple cable clamps.
Yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
added
there's
there.
internal cable clamps.
Nice.
Now, if I look at table 314.16B1 and I'm looking at number 12, come across, it tells you it's good for 2.25 cubic inches. Okay?
Right.
Very simple to follow. So I'm looking at this. I've got 2.25. I know right here, now watch. I'm just going to click on this blank. And then I'm just going to type in 4.5. That's
And
it.
letting everyone know that was my idea, by the way. I told them that'd be cool if you could fill them in. And
What was so interesting when we started doing, I know the next one's 4.5, but
right.
I'm not going to work the whole thing. I'm just showing everybody this is how you're able to go in and work on these problems. And when you're filling something in right here and you know you're over it, and I actually wrote this in, you see how it takes, and it's got like a little bullet beside it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bullet to let you know that you've hovered above this, and once you click it, you're now on that when you start filling it in.
Okay.
So if I look at that number 12, you only need one. So look, say I put 2.25 and the bullet popped up. So every time I hover above each one of those, I know I filled in that value. Okay.
Right.
Now, once you finish that, you're going to determine what you need here for that cubic inch fill right here in table 314.6a. So I'm just going to go down here and I just want to show you. Right below this, we put in your answer key to the illustration. Here's all your information here. Okay. So I'm looking at this. I did a total of 21.5 cubic inches. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to scroll back up here and I'm going to look at this table here. Now, if I look at a square box and I come across and I look at 21.5 cubic inches, what size am I going to need here? Now, this is a trick that they'll do on a test sometimes. If you look, I'm at 21.0, so it can't be a 4 by 1.5. I'd have to go to a 4 1/2/8. But
Right.
sometimes when you look at this cubic inch value here, it could have been where I was at, say, the 4/11/16 by 1.25 inches, just say that was 29.2. That there would have been the value you used because it was below the 30.3. See that?
Oh yeah.
And we tell you this when you're going through it because they're looking at what size is the minimum listed that's given here. But in this case, you're looking at a 4 by 2 1/8 that we want to go in and use for this.
Right.
Okay. Now,
Which that's pretty much just if all the apprentices out there. That's pretty much just your common deep box that we use.
yeah,
You know.
and the reason we put all this in here is because we want you to be able to go through and follow through with all this and everything. And there's a lot of different detailed information that's in here, and it takes a little time to do all that, but we don't mind. Now, one of the other things that we did is right down below that we also have the PDF of it. So if you want to go through and you want to look at this PDF, and I'll just go to page fit here.
Oh
Then,
man, is that Gray Boy on there? I thought Gray Boy was out of business.
well, the reason GB was kept on there was for Dad,
Nice.
because that's
I
how
like
he
it.
started. And
Quick,
he
sweet.
still has the company, but he doesn't do anything. So,
Okay. No, that's awesome.
and then when you get in here, you can come in and you can just look at what you want to do here. And say I just wanted to look at sizing a nipple here. It's going to take you right over here to sizing nipples, and then you'll see how we go about doing it with a problem. And then you've got your fill in the blanks here that you can do on paper if you want. And then you'll notice right after you get through all of this, and that's what I'm telling you, there's just so much you can do. Here's all the different type of questions you can look at. And then once you get through those, then you get through 20 of them, then look here, now you've got all the different type of calculation problems you can work. And after you do these, I'm going to show you here. There's just so much. Then you'll see here's the answer key. We give you the answer key step by step so you can go in and check and see if you did the problems right. Now, once you get through that, if you want to go, say you just want to do it on paper, right there's your fill in the blanks.
Nice.
So everything has been done. It's, I don't know what else to say except for we've put the time in to get all of this set up. And I think with the state license, I think everybody's going to be really, really happy with what they're going to see when the state license come out. So anyway, that's what we've been working on.
I think I know what to say. I think I got something to say.
Yeah.
Let's take that jump. Let's go get that baby out there. Let's go take that dirt bike jumping.
Oh, and I've been contacted, they were wanting to know for when I get to the state license what the cost was going to be $125, $124.95. So
that's because of me too, because I said the suggested retail price should be about $125, and man, you listened, that's pretty awesome.
We're going to be half of what everybody else is charging pretty much.
Yeah.
And I will promise that when y'all go in and you see the amount of work that's in the programs and all the additional information, if you really want to learn something, it'll be in there.
Yeah, what I really liked about it was I'm not trying to throw shade on like how you did everything, James. I loved how you broke it down in like hours of how many hours you put in and what you charge per hour and everything, and that's how you determine the price. And when you gave me that breakdown, I was like, dude, I don't hear anybody else breaking it down like that. They just say, too bitty, and you're just like, what, 25? And it's based on, and you gave me like the hour breakdown of how many hours you put in, how much you charge per hour, and, how many people you get. And I thought that was really cool, the way you broke it down like that.
Well, and this is a difference in our training programs. I can break it down real easy for everybody to understand. The competition, they hire somebody to put their learning management system together and develop their programs. They don't know nothing about electrical. And they'll have somebody that writes the material, somebody that draws the illustrations if they do it. If not, they have somebody that grabs and collects the pictures in order to put in to go with their text and lay in the publication. So you probably got 2 people doing that. Then you got a guy that does um, the uh, the learning management system. So there's three in their website. So you got three people there. Then you got somebody that does all the state stuff and everything. Here, I write the publications with Dad, and then I do all the illustrations. I do all the layouts of the books. I do all the course design and everything. So I know exactly what needs to be in there. That is pertinent to the industry because
I
I've
help
been
out
out
a
there
little
doing
with
it.
I help out a
Yeah,
little with the Colorado side of it.
but the thing is, I don't have to pay three or four people to do it. I'm doing it all one person. And
Yeah.
once it all gets done and everything, uh, it'll be correct, but there will be so much information overload that's going to be in those programs that I'm able to do with an online course. And then I will set it up to where you can even have access to anything you want monthly, and you'll have options. You can just look at a publication if you want to. You can pick individual subjects if you want to, just publication, or if you want the online course to go through it, we'll have it that way. I also will do them in silver, gold packages and stuff to where if you want the publication, the videos, the clicking through illustrations and everything, that's like the platinum, the best of the best. If you want a gold, that just you don't get the video portion, but you get it with the illustration in the online course. If you just want just a regular, then all you get is the publication. So you
Right.
get all these different options. You can go in and purchase that, and then I will set it up, but it'll be everything on there where you can do it monthly even. So if you just
Nice.
need access to something, say as an example, and none of these other providers offer this kind of stuff, but just say you wanted to learn something on troubleshooting motor windings and components. That's it. And you just needed a month to go over it. I'll have a monthly subscription for that where you can go in and just study it for a month for like 10, $15, you know, and let you just sort of go through at your own pace. And if you need to go an extra month, just pay the extra $15. It's cheaper that way for people.
Yeah, and we've actually challenged people. I'm glad you brought this up, James, because we've actually challenged people. If you see something better, feel free to post it in electrical code discussion for Awesome Electrician Group and show us there's something better. I know it's coming, James. I don't want you to be caught off guard, like surprised or anything, because like if
I'll
somebody
be
has something.
impressed when it happens because I know
Yeah.
what went into ours.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, I just don't want you to be surprised.
You want to hear something that was funny? Is I finished chapter one of the code changes, and I was all excited. And then Dad goes, "Well, won't you set me an account?" He goes, "I want to look at it." I said, "Well, here, I'll just put you on mine and look at it." He was in here. I think he spent 2 days just looking at it and reading everything. And he come in there. He sits down. He goes, "Well, son," he goes, "I think I'm going to have to quit talking crap about you." He goes, "That's some of the finest education I've ever seen." He goes, "There's so much information." He goes, "I can't believe how good that is." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "When people see that," he goes, "You're probably going to get a lot of apprenticeships and stuff going to want access to that." He said,
Yeah.
"Because that is in depth." He goes, "I had never seen something that in depth." He goes, "Usually as an instructor, you have to remember that when you're out teaching and giving all the additional information." He said, "Hell, you got so much stuff in there." He goes, "There's stuff in there I didn't even think about putting in the book." I said, "Yeah." So I've been doing a lot of research, as I'm doing each one to get as much information and be as precise as I can. And he goes, "Well, wait till they see it." He goes, "Man," "that's fantastic." So I was like,
Well,
"Yeah, Dad."
and that's the thing. The whole reason why we do this podcast is to kind of like improve as electricians, improve as educators, just improve ourselves all across the board. Like nobody's perfect. And it's really fun for me to do when all of a sudden my apprentice is like, "I'm gonna quiz you on your own podcast." I was like, "All right, go for it." And guess what? I nail it every time because the whole thing is like all of this stuff that we're presenting to you guys tonight is all from the heart.
That's right.
It's not like anything we have to write a script for or anything we have to do, and that's why I love doing it so much because we'll argue. Like me and King James will call each other. We'll argue about certain things, and I'll be like, "Hey, how many screws do you need in an industrial cover?" And he's like, "One." I'm like, "What? Really?" I was like, "Everyone said 3 at the airport today, And it was just really funny because I was kind of put in a box, and they asked me, they're like, "Hey, how many screws do you need for an industrial cover?" I was like, 2. And they're like, "Nope." And then they show me the picture from the handbook of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I was like, that handbook is opinion. Like, that's not code enforcement rules. You know what I mean? And then I'm asking you, well, hey, as an inspector, would you, sign one off that had 2 screws? And you're like, And it's just really funny how you're like, I guess, like, you would have to kind of because the code says more than 1 screw. And
Well, what I said is I told him just go ahead and put the other screw.
Yeah.
It ain't no big deal. Just put it in there so nobody says anything.
But could you enforce it though?
Yeah, I mean, most of them just put it in. I mean, and it's like Bill said, we love what we do and everything. And Absolutely. And I can tell you, I do. I can retire right now if I want to. I don't have to do this crap, but I love doing it. And I love putting stuff together that is beneficial to the people. And I invested in it too. I could have just not invested in it. I could just went on my happy way and just go do whatever I want, go play golf, during the week, all everything. But I actually enjoy the electrical field. I've been doing it since I was 14 years old. And, one of the things I probably enjoy more than anything is continuing my dad's legacy. And making all that work he done with all those publications and everything really taken on to another level for him. And then after I get it all done and everything, I figure I'll probably be about 67 and I'll start getting my son, showing him what to do, and I'll just update and show him how to fix everything as we go through it, and then let him pretty much learn to do it. So
True. No, and that's really awesome. That means a lot. The whole legacy, Stalk Up legacy is really awesome. And, it's really awesome that you dragged me in here to, jump in on the podcast and try to, say, hey, I have a lot of stuff that I can bring insight from the field. And a lot of the reason that kind of drives me and King James both is a lot of these guys that are calling themselves so-called experts are they don't have any field experience and they don't know how it goes in the field. And it was just funny watching you kind of go off for an hour with Weed Man, and it was just so obvious that he just doesn't have any field experience. And like, it's just obvious that when these guys are just sitting in these offices and just reading words in books and trying to bark at us, telling us we don't know what we're doing and stuff, it's like, all right, well, get out there in the field and see how it's really done, and then come back and talk to me in like 30 years.
Hell,
Because
I remember back in my 30s going to 3 different classes that when there's a fire, how to actually look at after it's happened and everything, not only where the fire started, but how the fire acted as it was, burning. And then it finally burned out, and different things you look at and all that. And that, I'm going to tell you, that was very interesting. That was from a fire professional that was teaching that, because we were doing a lot of different fire cases at the time. And they would say, where do you think it started? And based on certain colors and stuff, let you know if it's electrical fire or not. I mean, it's really interesting. And, I went through stuff like that, and that's where we talk about field work,
Sure.
Going out, seeing it and all of that. It reminds me of one we did, and we were looking at this one, and I was up in the attic, so we're trying to track it out. Dad goes, "What do you see?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, I don't know who the hell wired this. I said, "They got this damn wire going off, and there's a freaking little porcelain knob up here." Dad just starts laughing. He goes, "That's knob and tube, you dummy." And I'd never seen it before. And we ended up having to map that out to see where it come from and everything, because it was it was a much different layout, but I wouldn't have known how to do that if I didn't know how to track the difference in the way the fire burned and everything, and the colors that I was seeing. I mean, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Right on. Well, let's go into the meme of the week.
sure thing.
Dude, Daniel knows that one so well. If Daniel knows me, he knows I do that all the time. I will sit there and drop one at night, and then I will sit there and like we're going for like the morning meeting, and Daniel's like, "What'd you do last night?" I was like, "You'll see in a little while," and then I start showing the comments, like 600 comments by the time we go to break or whatever. Oh, look who we have here. Weed man popping in.
Okay, let me mention this one more time. Okay, this was a good example of something we were just talking about. Somebody being out in the field and seeing what they're actually doing.
Sure.
And I can tell you 100% fact, and this was common practice up till probably about 2 cycles ago, I guess, maybe 3. And some jurisdictions just still allow it. But they'll go over with a 20 amp circuit, and they'll go over and branch off to the rooms and everything and run number 14 over to it and hook their lighting up and all of that. And they allow that. They treat it no different than, let's just look at it this way. You've got a lighting fixture over there, and you've got much smaller conductors in that fixture. Okay?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
And
I mean, it just goes to show. Now, do I agree that they should take number 12 over there by code? Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm telling you, real world field experience where they do that. I mean,
it's 90.4, Jeremy. The inspector can allow that.
Yeah, they were doing it forever. And he tried to tell me, no, they didn't. And I even asked, I said, did y'all? He goes, oh, hell yeah. He goes, that's common practice. He goes, because it's much easier to hook the devices up and stuff.
Sure.
I mean,
it's 90.4. King James lets me do number 14 on a 20 all day long because he knows that there's no safety concern with putting number 14 on a 20 amp circuit. It's less than 10% of the run. I have a 100 amp run going out to that 20 amp circuit with number 12. I hit outlet, and then after that outlet, I hit like my living room outlet, and then after that, I go on the load side. I don't even have to load side it because it's parallel with the circuit. I go out with 2 8-foot pieces of number 14 to each room, and you're good. You're golden. Those act like a heat sink, and you're not going to have any kind of overheating issues in that circuit. It's just ridiculous for him to, act like, oh, show proof, and, I don't know what you're saying, like, where did you say that, like.
Well, I got a question. Yeah. I got a question. If I go look at 210.19 exception 1 in 2026.
Right.
How can I take and go over there and have 50 amps going over, but I can tap off that with 20 amp? What's the difference? Sure. Yeah. Honestly, what is the difference? If I went over to number 12 and went to the rooms number 14, that the lighting in there is not even pulling anywhere close to that number 14. What's the difference?
Yeah.
That's my question. If you can answer that, tell me what they're. Oh, well, one's a tap. Well, I mean, yeah, they call it tap, but they allow you to do it, Jeremy. That's what I'm trying to tell you. In the real world, if you would get out of your elitism, staying in the office and actually go out and see what they do in the field, I'm telling you, they do that. I mean, it's just, and that's one of the things, that gets me with a lot of this is you get people come on here and they try to act like they know everything about it and how everybody else is wrong, and that's all that ECD. That's all they're about over there.
So the
And
code that allows it, Jeremy, is 90.4. King James is the AHJ. He's representing the AHJ. He knows from his experience that he's never seen any houses burned down because they put number 14 on number 12, and so he allows it. So there's your code. There you go.
they do it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a common practice. I mean, it's not something, and what happens a lot of times, you get people in there that have an interest that it would be much better if you just did everything in number 12. Well, why would that be?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah. Show the code. Show the code that you have to do number 12 to everything there, Weed Man.
I was the AHJ. Matter of fact, I was the chief electrical inspector for the city of Grapevine, 100%. And we allowed that all the time, Jeremy. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I was actually an AHJ. You never were. You never were a chief of city or anything like I was. Okay, sure. So sit here and just say you're not AHJ. I've been in that position before. My dad was the chief electrical inspector for Fort Worth. They allowed it. Sure. I mean, you're talking to people that actually were in positions that made those decisions, Jeremy. You've never been in that type of position, but yet somehow you're smarter than the people that actually were in position.
Well, we got a bunch of people jumped up on Rumble now that Weedman jumped in, so thanks. There's for Daniel. Got you, Daniel.
Something that's interesting that I was just sort of looking at that. We're getting more and more people over on the Rumble side. I mean, we're up like 50 subscribers over there now. That we don't even put any time into that channel other than loading the video up. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, 43 subs over there, Rumble. So if you guys like us over on Rumble, go subscribe and give us a like over there on Rumble. That's awesome. And, the thing that's funny is Weedman's just mad because we're not going against the code.
That was not against the code at the time. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't even want to argue with him.
I mean, he just wants to throw shade at you.
You're in the really. I guess when I was on all those standards for NFPA, I was in that position, especially when I was leading task groups and everything, and putting the material together. I guess that was just because of Daddy. No, that was because the people on there respected the work I was doing.
Well, let's roll on to the myth of the week, and
roll it on.
If you did my picture.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining Myth of the Week. Thanks so much for the participation we had this week. And this is a code change for 2026. And it was really hard for me to kind of put this together in a format that really kind of made sense. And I kind of threw in a few little curveballs in this just to kind of get some triggering going with a lot of people, because it says a single EMT conduit. But if you go read in the exception, it says EMT conduit or tubing. So EMT is technically tubing. It's not conduit. So that was actually kind of a mistake I made on the way I worded this myth of the week. But at the same time, I didn't really reference the exception. I just kind of did it as an in general, can you do it? Obviously this is an FS box. If I'm putting this on brick with the EMT, I'm going to mount that box 100%. I don't see any reason why you couldn't mount that box. but you'll see that box has no devices in it. And like I say, everyone's like, oh, well, what would be the reason for that? Well, now I could take a piece of seal tight out of there, and then I could just go run and I could wire up an AC outlet out of that box. And so that's kind of what the whole joke is about this kind of, not really joke, but this is a serious code change that now they're actually saying in 2026 that you are permitted to use EMT, and you can see it's in that list down there. I believe it's number 5. That in exception on 314.23e, that if you have if you're using like a FS or FD box, and it's really funny because a lot of these guys, these code experts out there, were like, "Oh man, that's not a FD or FS box. It has to be explosion proof." No, it doesn't. It doesn't say it has to be explosion proof. So it just shows like the ignorance that's out there in the trade right now. And Weedman wants to act like he's some kind of genius out there, and call people names and call them like inbred and everything. Like like
first of all, I'm trying to figure out, what are we getting worked up about? I'm not worked up about anything.
Yeah, neither am I. But I got some audio to go along with this. RJ, he does a good job explaining this, but I think me and you, King James, are going to find some things where he kind of makes a few mistakes in here, and I think we're going to catch him. Let's check it out.
According to what we just read, we should have 2 threaded conduits that thread into the box, right? You can't even just use threadless connectors on rigid or IMC with lock nuts. They've got to thread into the enclosure. Well, let's take a look at what the exception has to say. Single gang FS or FD boxes, as well as explosion-proof outlet boxes of any size, or conduit bodies that are not larger than the supporting raceway, may be supported by one piece of IMC, rigid, PVC, fiberglass, or EMT. Okay, so that's a pretty big change, right? So now, if I have an FS or an FD box, which is what we typically use outside, as long as it doesn't have any raceways or wiring devices inside the box, you can support it with one piece of EMT. So before it was 2 pieces of rigid. Now it's 1 piece of EMT. So that's a pretty significant reduction in the requirements. So looking at this conduit body, I mean, obviously there's no way to support it with one conduit. How are you going to do that?
So I'm going to actually argue that he's showing a conduit body where you have a rigid conduit going in one side and you have a rigid conduit going out the other side. He says there's no way to support it with just one, and that is actually incorrect. So what we've done out in gas and oil before is you come in with let's just say now with the code change, it's an EMT on one side, then you go out with seal tight or flex on the other side. Mm-hmm. So that's an example where he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, because he's like, you can't do that. It's like, yeah, you can. We actually do it a lot in gas and oil, where we come out, we'll hit a piece of unistrut, and then we'll just tail our whatever wiring method out. Then we'll thread a conduit body on there. Then we'll just go with a flexible wiring method to our device. So that shows where he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I was about to bring that up, because I actually do a lot of work for the oil industry, and I've seen these type of installations before. Exactly, and this goes back to, like we say, a lot of these guys that come in and they're telling you all this information and giving their opinion, they actually hadn't been out in the field. They've been in an office and they just give their opinion. They hadn't seen real work.
And a lot of people think that you can't use a EMT in a class 1 div 2 location, and you absolutely can. That's 100% legal, as long as you don't have make or break contacts.
That's right.
But if it was just an FS box, in fact, let's take a look at the next picture. 314.23F. So the box on the left is exactly what we just described, isn't it? That's an FS box. and it is supported by one piece of EMT, that is now code compliant. That was always a violation, right? And a very common one. So that's allowed by 314.23e's exception. Now let's take a look at F, because it's two different sections, right? This box does not have a receptacle. This box does. So the one on the left is 314.23e, the one on the right is 314.23f. Enclosures up to 100 cubic inches containing devices, luminaires, or lamp holders may be supported by 2 or more conduits threaded wrench tight into the box or hubs if they're secured within 18 inches. Okay, so this is a violation. There are 2 conduits, right? But they're not rigid and IMC. They're not threaded into the box. It looks like we have a piece of EMT, and then we have another piece of liquid type flexible, probably numb.
So this is another example of where Ryan doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So what we usually do, like when we're in gas and oil, with these FS and FD boxes, is we'll put the conduit that's coming in, that's carrying your conductors, and then what we'll do is we'll put a dog leg. So we'll take another conduit that doesn't hook to anything, it doesn't carry conductors or anything, it threads into the box, and then all it does is it just straps to like a piece of strut or something to building structure. So basically you have your 2 conduits. You have one that actually carries your conductors, then you have another one that is what we call a dog leg. So you could like turn a 90 out of it and then strap it to the curb of the RTU. There's a bunch of different ways you could do it, and a lot of them you get really good at making them look clean to where you just have a dog leg where a lot of times what we'll do is we'll just have a dog leg that comes out the side of one of these FS boxes. So you'll have one coming out the bottom, you have one coming out the side, and then one that comes out the side. All it is just straps the box. So, everyone's like, oh, wow, you're hacked if you don't strap that box. It's like, well, if you have one coming out the bottom, one coming out the side, and then you strap that to building structure, you don't need building structure to the box, too. So it just shows how you can have compliance in this without having to
metallic conduit, but that's certainly a violation, right? That would have to be 2 pieces of rigid or IMC threaded into the box. But they did make a change to the exception here. One piece of IMC or rigid may support a conduit body if it's not larger than the raceway size. So right there, stop. That's been in the code for quite some time. So this picture here, we've got a conduit body with lamp holders, right? One piece of conduit threaded into that is compliant. But now it can also be one rigid or one IMC to support a single gang FS or FD box or a single gang explosion-proof outlet box of any size. Now we have to be careful here because this rule still requires rigid or IMC. Right, so if it's supporting equipment like this, it still has to be rigid or IMC. If it's just a splice box, then it can be EMT.
So I thought that was pretty good, the way that kind of explained it, the way I try to do this as a myth, where there's really only one part of this exception that allows you to do EMT, and it's weird because they call it a splice box. A lot of people, like the way I tried to show the picture was that you have this box coming up and you just only have one conduit coming in and you don't have any conduits coming out. But Ryan explains there that you can have a piece of seal tie or you can have a piece of flexible wiring method coming out there and you're just using that as a splice box, but there's no device in there. It's not like you have to put a switch in there. Yeah. So that's what's really funny is it's really hard to, when I do these myths of the week, to do them exactly perfect to make everyone happy, like you have guys in there have to come out, call you names, say we're getting worked up and everything like that, and it's whatever, Gopher fan, thanks for popping in. Daniel says Gopher fan's like number 1 fan, or he's our biggest fan, so I mean, like I say, Daniel is a real big fan. There you go, Daniel. There you go. like hopefully you will be hearing that song when King James loses at the Willie Quiz tonight. But we'll see. It's really fun to do this. Really fun to do the myth of the week. It's really hard to present them. I'm trying to do 100% 2026, but I really have a hard time doing all these in like a short amount of time, and I don't want to take away from your topic, James. So I'll let you get in the topic of the week, bro. But
all right,
yeah,
lot to cover.
Pretty awesome. Let's roll it.
I think we're in part 4 of them now with the illustrations.
There you go.
All right, so we did.
Topic of the week.
So we finished definitions up last week. And as I was telling everybody as we were looking at everything at the start of this, we finished chapter 1 up for the online course for the state license. And we ended up with 49 all the way through chapter 1, which is really, really a lot compared to what we usually have. So that gives everybody a really good idea of what we've been getting into and everything. You know what? I think I went into Article 200 for some reason. I don't know why I did that. Okay. We may just skip this week because I meant to go into Article 110. I don't want to go ahead. So, yeah, I messed up. I said, well, I'll have to save this one. I freaking screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah, that's all right.
I don't know why I did that. Messed up.
All right.
I think you know why I did it? My mind was on it because I was doing chapter 2 that I'm working on right now. And I just, oh man. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Because we're already at an hour anyway.
All right. It's all good.
But
just because I brought my laugh crowd doesn't mean you have to feel embarrassed.
I'm okay.
All right.
But since that's the case, let me go ahead. I've got the illustration of the week and article of the week. So
okay.
Let's see what we got this week for the illustration of the week.
Ooh.
We did an aircraft hangar that these are all brand new illustrations that you're going to see here. This is from the 2023 Hazardous Classified Locations publication. And we went in, we drew the aircraft hangars and everything. You wouldn't believe all the work it went in to getting this. We showed one, I think, the first week of where we were at a gas station and showing around the pumps and all of that stuff.
Dude, so, AI is screwed this week, man.
Is it on aircraft hangars?
Oh, yeah. AI
no, you're kidding.
AI is screwed.
That's the first time that's happened on here that I had an illustration that we were going in.
Oh,
okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at these aircraft hangars, one of the things that you're going to be looking at is when you get to Article 513, what does it apply to? It applies to all the different types of buildings or structures, and this is any part of those which contain what? Aircrafts where you have Class 1 flammable liquids or Class 2 combustible liquids. Sure. And then they talk about where you have those temperatures and everything where they're above their flash points and their housed are stored. And this is in which what? The aircraft itself can undergo any types of service, repairs, or alterations.
So okay? I'm kind of interested to know on this one because I think that I was reading a reference where it says gonna be like a Class 1 Division 2 location. So is that because they actually possibly drain all the fuel out and that there's not that much vapor that's present as far as like to classify that? Because to me, I would think it would be a class 1 div 1, but they're saying that it's a class 1 div 2. So I feel that that is it's crazy to classify that. Like I think maybe below that is it says from the floor to X amount high.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into all of that in just a second because one of the
Okay.
other things when you look at that and you basically get into the scope of Article 513, it's going to also tell you that it doesn't apply to those locations where they're being used exclusively, where you're defueling the aircraft or the aircraft uh, uh, has never contained fuel.
Ooh. I
Okay,
like that. I like that.
so when you get over and you start looking at that, they're going to tell you based on that definition that's there. There, I remember right there, two informational notes in the scope, and it's going to take you to NFPA 409, that is the standard for aircraft hangars, and then you'll have NFPA 30, which is your standard for your flammable and combustible liquid scope. So that's where you get your fuel classification.
Gotcha. Okay. So
So
there must be something like with the standard where they like take the fuel out. That's what makes it a class 1
that's right.
div 2 because there's no there could be residual in the engine or in the components, but really nothing that's actually gonna make it a class 1 div 1 location.
Sure, and that it'll also tell you when you get in and you start looking at that. It's going to basically what it's going to tell you is Article 513. It's not going to apply to areas in which uh, uh, the only fuel that's contained within the aircraft. Uh, they're going to tell you is a Class 2 combustible type liquid, and then they go a little bit further as you start breaking this down. It'll tell you unless the fuel is used for what it's going to be used or stored above its flash point within the hangar.
Right.
That's what you're looking at. And so when you have a class 2 liquid,
It'll be stored below its flash point, right?
yeah, and that's right. And so when you have a class 2 liquid, this is why it's always been good, me being on the EECA committee, which is your electrical equipment and chemical atmospheres. We cover NFPA standards 496, 497, and 499. And when you go over, and I think it's table 4.2.2, you go over and look at it, that's where they get in and you start looking where you have this class 2 liquid. It'll tell you, it'll tell you what its closed cup flash point is. And it'll tell you where it's sat at or above 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
True.
So they'll tell
That's
you.
the difference between flammable liquid and combustible liquid, correct?
Mhm. So when you look at a combustible liquid, what is a class 2 combustible liquid?
Over 100 flash
Well, when
point.
you look at the different types, so you look at some of the different types of aviation fuel, such as I think they call it Jet A. That is a class 2 type combustible liquid. Okay, so
Okay.
you have to sort of know what you're looking at when you get into that. That's why they tell you when you're looking at an aircraft plant like this, and say you're in a manufacturing plant.
Dude,
And
I'm really surprised that you were able to get a picture of my private jet that
Yeah.
I usually cruise around in.
But it'll tell you when you have an aircraft manufacturing plant, and this is an area where the aircraft is under construction, it's never contained any type of fuel. That there is an example of a type of facility that's not actually covered by the requirements of Article 513.
True. I agree
Okay.
with that.
So that's why I wanted to point those few little things out, because there's a lot of stuff here. And then what the NEC does as far as classification for the different types of specific occupancies or processes they have in place, that when you start looking at this, it has been extracted from other NFPA documents.
True.
And that's why it's very important to know exactly what you're looking at. And it's stuff like when you look at this right here, when we do the hazardous location, like I was showing for the code changes, we're going to have those little tabs there. That's where I'm going to put all this additional information for you to look at.
What if the jet manufacturer says there's no fuel contained in this aircraft when delivered to factory? Do you have to? Does the code override that?
That ain't going to work. So when you look at that, and this is where it gets interesting, because as you're looking at that illustration, you're going to see we have a lot of different sections in here that you're going to look at, and we tell you to start at 513.3 through 7. Okay. Now there's a reason, because when you look at 3, that's where they get into the reconditioned equipment and all that stuff. But 5 is really the main spot you're going to look at in the 2026. And you'll see there's sections that have been moved around from here. Right. And when they're talking about these different types, when they talk about, say, class 1, for instance, all right, this is going to be
saying like class 1 div 1, or
well, just the term class 1.
Okay.
What it is,
it's flammable liquids. Right?
It's an identifier, and
okay.
It's an identifier for, like you were just saying, for your flammable gases, your vapors, or liquids. And the reason they do that, that's to help differentiate them from a class 2 and class 3 location.
Right.
Okay. And that's why it's in there. It's more of a identifier.
So class 1 is flammable liquids, vapors, and then class 2 is what? Flammable powders, possibly? And then class 3 is flammable.
Well, class 2 deals with dust and stuff like that.
Right, dust and
yeah,
powder.
You're gonna see when you're looking at flammable gases, vapors, liquids, things like that. You're looking at NFPA 497. When you get into your dust and stuff like that, you're looking at NFPA 499.
Gotcha. Well, so like I was working at the Smucker Uncrustable plant, and they have a class 2 division 2 area, and I'm like, this is weird. And it's within like, I think it was like 10 foot of the hopper or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you had to be like really careful and everything. And then I'm like, they were freaking out. They're like, no cell phones over here, all this stuff. And I was like, what? Like, it was weird to me. I was like, why are you guys tripping over here? Well, I guess it's because there's flour. And I guess you could make like a bomb out of flour, you know? Yeah. And so like, it's scary when you were like, wow, flour is that explosive. Like, I mean, so that's the reason why you have these rules in there. That are you more scared of this, you know, Willie Jackerson, Learjet parked in the hangar, or are you scared about, pound of flour? So,
I can tell you more dust explosions were bigger than explosions that happen with flammable stuff.
I agree.
And the reason that is because you build up more pressure.
True.
That's how it happens. So, but when you go over and look at 513.5, and basically you're going to get into A, B, C, and D is what you're going to get into when you look at that in the 2026. And when you look at A, that's where it's going to talk about below 4 level, and they're just going to tell you that's classified as what, a class 1 div 1. Then where you got areas that are not separated or ventilated, then they're going to tell you the entire area of the hangar from the floor up is going to be 18 inches. And then they get into the vicinity of the aircraft and C. Okay. And what they're going to tell you is this is what they C1 is going to get into where they talk about the aircraft maintenance and storage. And
Okay.
they're just going to tell you the area within 5 foot horizontally from those aircraft power plants or the fuel tanks. Those are going to be classified as a Class 1 Div 2, and that'll extend from the floor up to a level of 5 foot above the upper surface of the wings or the engine enclosure that's there.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then when you get over to where you get into another type that they deal with in C2, this is where they have the hangars where they actually paint the aircrafts.
Sure.
And then when you're looking at that, it's going to be 10 foot. Okay. But they're also going to tell you that you have the area that's horizontally, again, from the aircraft service between 10 and 30 foot from the floor and 30 foot above the aircraft service. That's classified as a Class 1 Div 2.
I agree with that.
So
Dude, I'm
those
telling
are the
you.
main things you want to know when you're looking at this illustration. We have a lot of additional information in the publication when you're looking at this with text and stuff, but this gives you a little bit of idea of what you're looking at when you're looking inside an aircraft hangar.
Dude, I'm telling you, AI is screwed this week on Man vs. Machine, man. Screwed. I thought I'd pick something that you don't practice that much, but
Well, if
man,
it's anything on hazardous, I'll have a little bit of a problem because we just updated that book and it's fresh on my mind, and we covered all kinds of stuff on that.
I'm gonna do the Michael. Who is it? The Office. I'll be like,
Okay. Now, this is a calculation. This is an article a week or calculation a week. You know, I do different things, but I always like to pull stuff out that nobody's seen. Okay. And
what, dude? This is dude. Somebody's gonna come out with some better. I don't want you to get all cocky and think nobody has anything better. Like, eventually, it's coming.
well, I thought this one was a really, really good illustration or calculation. Because this is where you're looking in the annex in the National Electrical Code, and you're going to look at table B.211. And this is where you're loading more than half of the conductors. This is where you're getting into derating of conductors. So what we're asking is a question here, and I'm going to show you how to do this particular calculation. And when you're taking the journeyman and master's exam, we actually put this on there just in case. So you'll see this calculation where you can fill in the blanks and work this and everything in the journeyman and masters. So what we're asking is, what is the ampacity for number 12 THHN copper conductors where there are 16 conductors pulled through the raceway? Okay, so only 12 of them are current carrying, but you got 16 through there. Okay, so when you look at this, this is the formula you're going to see is A2 equals, and you're going to square root this whole thing. 0.5 is a constant. N is the number of conductors in the raceway, and E is the current carrying conductors. So you're going to take the 0.5 times 16 and then divide that by 12, and that's going to give you 82%.
Right.
Okay. Now, when you go and look at this, and this is where it gets interesting, because a lot of people don't know where to get a lot of this information, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, but aren't you going off 3, 10, 15 when it comes to the 70%?
Well, I'm about to show all that.
Okay.
And
okay.
This will give you some really, really good information to go and look at this stuff, because one of the things that we've done when we put all this together was to give everybody this additional information of where you're going to pick up all this different information in order to do these calculations properly. And I don't have it. Well, I guess I could take and pull it up. Let me see here if I can do that.
So just so everyone knows, I did come up with the idea to like fill in the blanks. Like, don't let James tell you that was somebody other than me. It was me. It was just he just doesn't remember who at the time. You know, it was me. He just doesn't remember.
Well, I've had it's funny when I first started doing all this. It was funny how many people were coming up giving me all these different things to go through and look at it and show how to do this stuff. So they say, can you get it to do so and so? I'm like, hell, I don't know if I can do that or not. But we always tried to work on it and make it as fluent as possible where people could do stuff they'd never been able to do before. And it was quite the experience learning how to do this. But
well, I want to give a big shout out to like all the people that give me feedback on like all the groups and everything, because one of the guys was like, you know what, you should put, or no, it was funny because like I had a question and I only did A, B, C, or D, right?
mm-hmm.
And he goes, E, all the above. And I was like, what? And it was so funny. So then I realized that in order to fool people on my questions, I have to have an E answer. And then sometimes the E answer is right, sometimes it's wrong. But I just thought it was so funny. I'm like, all of the above, it asks what ampacity it is,
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really funny because it could not ever be all of the above. But then I went and I edited it and I went and put all the above in there,
Okay. I got it. So I want everybody to see where it comes from.
Okay.
Let me
Cool.
share the screen.
All right.
This one on NFPA link, you just sort of got to know where to go to get to it. But as you're looking at this, Bill was asking where the 70% come from. I'm going to increase this a little bit so we can see it. So when you go over,
I didn't ask. I knew where it came from.
Well, okay. Well, if you go look at table B.211 and you look at this, 10 to 24 conductors here. We had 12, okay, or 16. I'm sorry, 16. I forgot. No, we had 12 current carrying conductors. I was at 16 was told. So you had 12. You come across, you're going to see. You take it at what? 70%.
Right.
Okay. So that is where it come from.
What code cycle is that? Is that 2023?
It's the same in the 2023 or 2026.
Gotcha.
It's the same one.
Okay.
So looking at that, I had 82% I had as derating factor. Then I had 70%. And then the 30 amps, that comes from table 310.16 because number 12 is good at 30 amps. And I'm using the 90° C column because I'm actually derating at this point. Okay.
Right.
Which is given permission over in 110.14C. That gives that permission. Matter of fact, let me do a breakdown here so everybody can see, because they'll be like, what the hell is he talking about? Okay. Right. So let me go back.
I love how you're breaking this down, and like if people don't understand, feel free to like reach out on all our groups. Like we have like electrical code discussion for awesome electricians. We have the electrical wall of shame. We have, or it's not the electrical wall of shame, it's electrical wall of shame. But we have all these groups. You can reach out to me directly. Like, dude, we'll love to answer any questions on anything.
Well, the one thing that we do is we break it down to show you where it comes from so you understand exactly what's taking place. So if I look at this right here, 110.14C, and I'm looking at my temperature limitations. This is where I'm getting my permission right here. Okay. So what it says, and I'm just going to look at the last sentence here in 110.14C at the top. Conductors with temperature ratings higher than specified for terminations. So most of your terminations are what? They're 75 or 60. They're, you just don't see 90. So it says shall be permitted to be used for ampacity adjustment, correction, or both. So it's telling me I can use a termination that's specified higher here, which would be 9° C, because we're using a THHN conductor. So if I go over here and look at Article 310 and pick up 310.16, go over here and grab this real quick.
Nice.
Okay. Now, if you look here, I'll increase it here. You'll see I've got listed over here THHN in the 9° C. And if I come down and pick up 30 amps, you're going to see it's good for what? Number 12. That's where I got the 30 amps from. Now, you may say, well, if I want to look at this and I want to go a little bit further, let's go look at 310.4. And if you look right here, let me increase this table here. Increase the table, expand table. So that's all you see. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go find THHN, okay, to prove it's right here. Now, if you look at THHN, see where it says 9° C right there? And it tells me I can use this in dry and damp locations. I didn't give any one of those type locations, but let me show you something else here. If I come down here and I pick up THWN, not -2, just THWN, I could not use a 9° C column because it's only good for what? 75° C. Okay, so that's how you go more in depth when you're looking at these calculations and where I'm getting this information from. So based on this here, I did what my multiplier was going to be 82% based on the number of conductors that were being pulled through the raceway, and then dividing that by the number that are current carrying gave me 82%. The 70% for the 16 conductors, I picked that up over in table B.211. Then I took the 30 amps here because THHN is good for 9° C, picked it up from table 310.16, which is good for 30 amps. So the ampacity for those 12 current carrying conductors is going to be limited to 17.22 amps. Okay?
True. No,
so
that's good.
that is a full blown out calculation with a lot of information we just given to you on how we were able to determine that amperage based on where I was loading just more than half of the conductors that were in the raceway and the others wasn't being used as current carrying. That's how you do the calculation.
So could you use those for continuous duty?
Well, sure you could.
Yeah. They're above 16 amps.
That's right.
So, you know, that's the kind of things, like, they try to get you on those tests and on the quizzes and everything like that, and you just have to kind of think, like, logically, like, you know, is that really a problem, you know?
I've looked at a lot of different publications out there. They don't show you that. And
Sure.
I think, you know, like we did one on here where I was showing how to do the calculation for a transformer based on altitude. It show you Jeremy never gets out in the field. I said, okay, well, if you know so much, I said, which was altitude worse on a transformer or motor? And he said, a transformer. No, it's not. It's on a motor. And anybody in engineering will tell you that. They know that for a fact. And, you know, and then he just, you know, started calling us names and went to something else. But what I'm trying to point out to y'all is this is the type of information that we're putting out there to have access to. And you can go in and study all this, and you can do it just on a monthly subscription.
Sure. 100%. All right, well, we go into, what are we doing? The tool next? Or you want to do the Willie Quiz?
Tool of the week.
All right.
It's time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electricians Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
So I really love this tool this week. Actually, it was really funny because we had a guest on here. Her name was Reese. She's a electrician out of Colorado. I just bumped into her at Denver International Airport. She's a ramp electrician, and it was really cool. She's like, "Man, it's really cool. I want to be back on the show." And I was like, "All right." I was like, "Cool, Reese." But she had this actual level, and it's a laser level. It's really cool because it does a line horizontal, a line vertical. It does a dot. It has all these different modes. It's really one of the best lasers I've seen out there that I've seen. And she was using it, running some rigid at the job site we were at when I bumped into her. Like, this is like the first time, like, this is years ago. This is probably, 2020 sometime. So this is probably 6 years ago. Bumped into Reese, and she had this exact level, and it worked awesome. So big shout out to you, Reese. We will have you back on the show as a guest again. I told James she had a bunch of questions for James about motor control and stuff like that. So be a real honor to have you back on again, and I will reach out, try to get your number and stuff. We'll try to figure out how to get you back on the show, but this was originally a tool that she showed me that she was using, and it was a no-brainer. You just running straight pipe all day. Never had a problem with this. I really like it when you come in. This is actually a combination of a bunch of different lasers together that we've kind of featured on this show before as far as tools. But I think Klein kind of perfects it on this, knowing that we want to run straight pipe this way. We want to run straight pipe, up the wall. We want to run straight pipe across the wall. We want to, get our pipe straight going, vertically from like a mark on the ground, And I cannot think of a bad thing to say about this Klein laser. I think it's probably one of the better lasers out there, just because of all the versatility where you have dot, you have line, wall, line vertical, line horizontal. I don't know exactly which one's better when it comes to like the green or the red. I think the green's probably easier to see, but like I say, honestly, this is probably one of the best laser levels out there, and big shout out to Reese for buying one and showing it to me. And I don't know if I told you this story, James, but what happened was we were working at this job site, and I had my screwdriver on one of the lifts. I was just going around doing something with the screwdriver, and they're like, "Hey, come down here off the lift." And I was like, "All right." And they're like, "Yeah, here's your check. You're out of here." And I was like, "Oh man, I forgot my screwdriver, But I was like, whatever, I got my check, I'm out of here, So all these years later, I meet up with Reese at one of the other jobs we're doing, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Here's your screwdriver." And it was probably like 5 years later, 4 years later, she's like, "Here's your screwdriver." And it was cool because I had my bags on, I had my tools on, I was like, "Oh, cool, it goes in this spot." It was a missing spot I had. And so I was like, "Oh, cool, that's where it goes. It goes right here." So big shout out to Reese. That was really awesome, getting my screwdriver back that I was missing for like 4 years. I even called her. I was like, "Hey, do me a favor, grab my screwdriver." She's like, "I'll grab it." I was like, "I just don't want them to have it." And she's like, "All right, I'll grab it for you." And so then next thing you know, here 4 years later, we're working on a job. She's like, "Hey, Bill." And I was like, "What's up?" She's like, "Here's your screwdriver."
That's
She
funny.
handed me back my screwdriver. I put it right back in that spot in my pouch where it was missing. And it was pretty cool. And so big shout out. She's been a guest on the channel, been a guest on the show. And we love you guys, especially J-Dubs from Colorado, licensed people from Colorado. A big shout out to you, Reese. And we're really anxious to have people back on the show to come back on here and tell us, about different stories and stuff like that. And it was really cool that Reese saved my screwdriver from the last electric company and got it back to me. And that was really cool, really special. And, Really cool that we could have people like that on our show as guests and everything like that. So
Awesome.
yeah, hopefully in the next few weeks coming up, I'm not going to mention any guests because next thing you know, GoPro fan will be like, oh, hey, what happened to Reese? Be like, I don't know. She must got busy on ramp duty or something that night. I don't know.
He's always got to have a problem with anything we do.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's throw down man versus machine. Get it
Let's
out
do
of the
it.
way.
Let's do it.
For years, man tried to create artificial intelligence. On this segment, we find out, is AI smarter than King James?
So I want to give a little bit of a backstory on this one. I actually saw for the first time, actually went in and watched these guys in an aircraft hangar working on some of this aircraft. And I was blown away. Like, I was floored. And I was like, man, I got to go look in the code book and see what these guys, like where could this really happen? I mean, dude, they're working on these, like, 787 Dreamliners,
Mm-hmm.
and these things are huge. Like, what kind of footage could be involved in this from the floor to the engine? Because I'd say it was probably a good 20 foot
Mm-hmm.
from the floor to the engine, And so I'm like, man, I was like, does the code apply to this and stuff like that? So then I started looking at, the different references, and I was like, all right. I was like, I'm going to put together a code question that is going to fool King James. And I know I did not get you this week, but we'll try for next week. It's always next week, but we'll see.
I have a feeling I'm going to do good on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
I screwed it up.
Let's see. Yeah, I just read that. 5 foot. I think I can give you the exact section on this too. 513.5C1 would be exactly correct in this case.
Yep. Let's see if AI is doing code updates right now.
Well, I got him set up. Let's see if it gets close.
Oh, man.
All right, let me kick
I was
it
like,
up
when
a
you
notch.
said it, I was just like, tail between legs.
Yep.
Like, yeah,
Getting
not
it
getting
this
them this week.
Let's see what it says. It's really thinking on this one. It's unsure.
$10 foot! They got 10 foot?
Yep, 10 foot.
I knew it! I knew I'd get them on 10 foot. Remember that? We were talking about the 10 foot one?
That'd be wrong.
Oh, man, I knew it. I knew 10 foot would be. Oh, man. It's probably smart, though. Like, on those 787 Dreamliners, you should be 10 foot, probably.
Out on this question once again.
You don't even get 10 foot to reach the freaking engine.
Yeah, well, most of them they would just go straight to that 5C1. I just copied it just to make sure.
Dude, I feel like such an idiot, but at the same time, it's like so cool because I did not think that you were going to be doing that as your illustration of the week. Like, I did it! Everyone's going to think we're in cahoots now. But
Yeah, let me tell it. Yeah. Let me tell it to keep in mastery log.
oh, yeah. It's got a mastery log on you. I guarantee. It doesn't have mastery log on me. Like, it doesn't listen to me.
It's going to get smart enough. It's going to send out a hit on me.
Oh, that'd be
Okay.
the only way to stop it.
We got it. Okay, it's in. That's good to go.
Nice,
All
dude.
right.
That is such a coincidence. Like that is so weird. Cause like
There we go.
me and King James, we don't talk about like what we do, whatever. Like he didn't tell me I'm doing this illustration. I didn't tell him I'm doing this code question.
Yeah.
I just try to look through, find a good code question, and I thought it might fool you, but man, did not ever even come close this week. But that was just a really heavy coincidence. But
Yeah.
that was
That
cool.
when you said it was, I was like, what? How's this an illustration we just finished, like 4 or 5 months ago or something?
Was I right though? AI gets it wrong again, just like I said. Like AI is supposed to get them all right, but that's cool. We going with Willie Quiz.
Willie Quiz.
All right, Daniel, get ready. Get your pencil out. This is gonna be a fun time tonight. Sorry it's taking so long. We usually do them after an hour, but at the same time, we have question number 1. Which of the following was once used as medical treatment in the 1800s? Was it A, cocaine toothpaste? Was it B, mercury bath? Was it C, bloodletting for headaches? Or was it D, none of the above? Or E, all of the above? Good luck, everyone.
Well, I have heard of the mercury bass and cocaine toothpaste. I never heard of bloodletting for headaches, but I guess that must have been a thing because I do recognize the other two. So I'll go with E, all the above.
So it looks like King James might have had some cocaine toothpaste back in the day.
You ever watch some of those shows they used to take, and they'd have those little containers, and they'd open them up and sniff it. You remember watching? They used to that in old movies. That's where the cocaine come from, was the toothpaste.
All right. Well, looks like Daniel's saying cocaine toothpaste only. Dude, I mean, King James is saying all of the above.
Well, I'm not sure about the bloodletting for headaches, but I have heard of the mercury bass before, and that was pretty bad because I think, if I remember this right, the mercury bass, they were using that for people that had syphilis. It was very toxic, but it was for people who had syphilis, I think it was.
Okay. All right, let's see. King James gets question number 1 correct.
Right.
Daniel has 1 incorrect answer. And yes, Daniel, you were correct for A, B, and C. To me, honestly, I think King James might have had some cocaine toothpaste stashed in his cabinet. He's not telling us. That's why he knew.
Was I right on the mercury bass? Is that what it was for?
Yeah, it was weird. I did a little research on it. It was pretty bizarre. It wasn't. I don't know what the reason they did it for.
It was something like syphilis or something like that.
Yeah,
They
it was
did it
bizarre,
for.
but they pretty much died not too long after.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I know this one.
So, question number 2. What was Napoleon Bonaparte reportedly afraid of? A, cats. B, heights. C, open water, D, the dark, or E, spiders? Good luck, everyone.
I'll tell you how I know this, and I got it wrong the first time. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and they have different things. They do like those quiz things, they send around that they have, and people compete,
Mm-hmm.
answer them right. I missed this, and then they told us what the answer was.
Okay.
I know what it is.
All right. Well, Daniel
right.
says A.
That's
Oh, so you're just gonna copy Daniel's answer?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how this quiz is gonna go. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna copy him this one.
2 correct answers for number 2. It
Yeah.
is cats.
I knew
all
that
right.
one.
Question number 3. In ancient Rome, what was urine commonly used for? A, cleaning clothes. B, whitening teeth. C, tanning leather. D, all the above. Or E, none of the above. Good luck, everyone.
This is an interesting one. I know because of the ammonia that was in urine, and
True.
I remember them using it for cleaning clothes. I don't think they
True.
used urine to clean their teeth, though.
B.
Uh,
Yeah, that's.
And tanning leather, I don't remember it for that either.
Yeah.
But I do
So,
remember them
wanted-
using it for cleaning clothes.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to make a common theme where you just always have that all the above. Daniel's going all the above. Ooh.
Yeah, because I'm thinking ammonia, what it's used for, and they might have used it to clean teeth too. But I do know they did for cleaning clothes, and I guess ammonia would tan the leather. So I'll go with D.
He's gonna copy Daniel.
Yeah.
We have 2 correct answers
Yeah.
from King James and Daniel. King James moves to 3 correct answers, leading the way, and we move on to question number 4. Which strange law was once real in medieval Europe? A, animals could be put on trial in court. B, wearing pointy shoes was punishable by jail. C, laughing at a funeral was illegal. D, none of these are correct. Or E, all of these are correct. Good luck, everyone.
Oh.
I knew that once it started getting into like question number 4, I was gonna start getting you.
I was sitting there giving it a lot of thought, and my
Ooh,
first.
look at Daniel going none of the above, and Daniel could tie you here. Oh my goodness! Oh man, none of the above. Oh man.
See, I was sort of thinking there at one time. I thought I saw something on this one time. I was watching on TLC, and I was trying to. For some reason, my mind is thinking that they did some crazy stuff. I I don't think it was medieval Europe that there was actually a law laughing at a funeral was illegal. I think, if I remember right, they were so freaking stupid back then that they would put animals on trial. I know that sounds weird, but for some reason I sort of, I'm gonna go with A. It's A or C, I think.
All right. Well, Daniel's going none of the above. You're going A. Animals could be put on trial. The answer is E. All of the above. Laughing at a funeral was illegal. Wearing pointy shoes was punishable by jail, and animals could be put on trial.
I remember hearing something about the animals, but I didn't think the funeral part was medieval Europe. I remember hearing something about that one time.
You are right. So Daniel still trails by one question. We will see if Daniel can catch up. What was the shortest war in recorded history? Was it A, Britain versus Zanzibar? Was it B, France versus Monaco? Was it C, USA versus Canada? Was it D, Spain versus Portugal? Or was it E, USA versus Mexico? Good luck, everyone.
Well, honestly, I have no clue at this one, but I'm sitting there thinking, USA, looking at all of those that are in there, they could actually defend themselves, except for a country I've never even heard of, which is Zanzibar. So I would assume it'd be Britain versus Zanzibar. I'll go with that because all the rest look like they could defend themselves for a period of time. Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Daniel is picking Britain versus Zanzibar. Man, we will see because Daniel still has a chance to tie you and win tonight. Let's see. The correct answer is Britain versus Zanzibar. So Daniel trails by one question. So we have to move to the tiebreaker tonight. This is going to be difficult to decide a winner tonight. So the tiebreaker question is, Wayne Gretzky scored the record amount of points in the NHL all time. A record that will probably never be broken by any player ever to play hockey in the whole entire world. What is that number?
Record what?
Like points. So, well, let me just explain to King James, and not just to King James, but to everyone. So, when you talk about hockey points, it's goals and assists put together.
Okay.
So, I wanted to have a thing of how many points, Mikko Rantanen and, Cale Makar and all these different, McKinnon, all the different hockey players. I wanted to see where their points were at for the season to give context, but basically it's goals and assists put together. So let's just say, Nathan McKinnon had 200 or whatever, 160 last year. What would you say the career goal, the career points number would be for Wayne Gretzky? So Wayne Gretzky.
So you're counting goals as 2 and assist as 1, right?
Well, no, they all count the same. So a goal is 1, an assist is 1.
Okay.
So basically, let's just say Nathan McKinnon, he's been in the league for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
He's got, say, 10, 100, that's 1,000 points. So let's just say, I think Nathan McKinnon just hit his 1,000-point streak. So,
Okay.
that being said, what would you say would be the points for Wayne Gretzky, career all-time? A record I don't think is ever going to be beat ever, but Nate McKinnon, the best Avalanche player ever. Daniel can retract his answer of 200 and go with a different one, but it
So
could be.
I'm going to assume that he's probably scored
Well,
about
it's scoring.
700-800 goals.
Yeah, it's scoring and assisting, and so Nathan McKinnon has hit 1,000 this year. And he's been in the league for 10 years. I think Wayne Gretzky was in the league for a little bit longer. But that being said, it's going to be possibly higher than 1,000. Most likely higher than 1,000. Probably maybe higher than 2,000.
So just as an idea, so Wayne Gretzky was in for, say, 15 years?
Yeah, that's
15?
fair. That's fair.
So if he scored 80, let's see, what's a good year hockey-wise? I'm just trying. They play so many games if you got to. So, I mean, being the greatest all time, you're probably looking at 70 goals. That seems a little high.
Yeah, so it's the closest without going over. Daniel, you can resubmit your answer. I know it's way more than 200. It's not goals, it's points.
So we'll just say I'm just going off basic. I would assume a good year with goals is 50 goals if you did every year. So that's about 750. So
Yeah.
I'm over 750. I'll just do that. And then I'd assume you would have more assists than you would goals.
Yeah,
So-
at least double.
I'm just trying to go. So you'd probably double that. So 14. I'll say right at about 2,500 maybe. That sounds pretty close
All
in
right.
that range. 2,500 I'll go with.
All right. King James is going 2,500. What is your answer, Daniel? Best guess without going over. You could say 5,000, Daniel. It's totally fine. We will not judge you or anything. So Daniel can restate 200. Daniel says 200. I don't think he knew like the whole
2,000. 2,000.
2,000.
He went 500 of that. I have no freaking clue. I'm just going off basic. You're saying so many years. I say 50 goals a year is pretty achievable. Double that in assists. So that's why I come up with 2,500.
I'm really glad that Jeremy asked. King James wins the contest tonight, 28-57. He is the closest without going over. That
That's
was
right.
a great guess. And Daniel takes the L tonight with 2,000. Thanks so much, Daniel. Dude, that was so awesome. Oh, man, it's so awesome. And, we will let you know who won the death match. It's coming up, but you did not win, Jeremy. You were not in the running, so.
Yeah, if you'd have been on here at the first, you would have heard me say we're going through everybody right now, deciphering the scores. We'll have an announcement in February.
True. 100%. That was so awesome. Really awesome segment. I think we have one left. Dude, you will love this, King James. So this is for guys that are out in the trade that know our pain of how much suffering we go through when this stuff gets screwed up. You'll love this. Wall of Shame is for you out there in the trade. You will love this one. This is perfect.
Let's kick it off.
Shame. Shame.
dude,
Before we go to that, so you're a fraud. I put on a free death match. I'm gonna give a
True.
prize. At first, you're not having the death match. Blah blah blah. You're a fraud. I have the death match. Did 12 months of it.
True.
Now I'm having to go through it all and everything, and see who's gonna be the winner and all that. And I'm the fraud. But nobody else does that, and it's my own money that I'm giving for the winner and everything. But I'm the fraud, and nobody else provides that. That shows you there's a definite bias right there. Of Jeremy and his little clan over there. They were talking all kinds of crap, and then I do it. It's on there every month, put it on. Hell, I even allow everybody to go on and still take it just for free if they just want to go in and take some questions, and see how they do. It's been closed, but I left it open just for people that just want to have fun. Show me another provider that provides that, Jeremy.
Didn't Weedman try to sneak in there and try to be like some fake profile and get buzzed it, even tell you oh yeah, some fake profile.
I do know who's in the lead right now, Jeremy, but I'm not gonna say. I'm not, when I finish going through them all and everything, I'm doing it right now, and then I will announce the winner. Well, what's wrong with that? I mean, what do you say? Again, how do you not know who's won?
Dude, I'm the winner. I'm the winner. I won.
I want everybody that's watching this podcast to realize a guy comes on here and is chastising me left and right over a free contest that I'm giving my own money and everything, and I have to take all the time to go through and check everything, and he's sitting here giving me a hard time. If that isn't somebody that's simping for the other side, I don't know what is. That goes to prove right there.
Just so everyone knows, we had a free contest called the NEC Deathmatch. It went for 9, 12 months. I don't remember how many months. And at the end of that 12 months, King James gives the winner $1,000 of his own money.
Yeah.
And there's no first place. There's no second place. There's no third place. There's no runner-ups. There's no, there's no second place trophies. There's no participation trophies. Winner takes all. And somebody won. And now here comes Charlie in the Chocolate Factory wanting to talk crap,
I will go back this right here. You should have had Jeremy, I've got so many things going on right now. I can't focus just on one thing. I don't sit just in an office all day, and all I have to do is regurgitate questions that you've written for some apprentices. I've got 2 cases going on right now I'm working on, and I got to be depoted next week, and then the next week after that. I've got all kinds of things going on. I'm getting submittals put together to go for state licensing. I'm finishing that stuff up right now. So for you to sit here and just sit here and chastise me left and right of all the things I've got going on, when you just sit in your elitist little office up there in Minnesota and act like you're better than everybody else. I mean, you provide nothing, but you come on this podcast and all you do is call us names, talk trash to us, and everything. That's all you do.
Dude, did you see that story I sent you?
I hadn't looked at it yet. I've been too busy. Bill gets on me because I haven't watched something he sent over to me because I got so many other things going on.
So there's a story. It's really funny. So just to show everyone here on the podcast a backstory, King James and Weedman, our #1 troll over here, they had a debate, and King James just took him to the woodshed and destroyed him. And then I uploaded it to AI and said, hey, what do you think about... And AI's like, oh man, King James just smoked him. And it was really funny because it got added to somebody's story, and then I sent it to you. So it says all you have to do is just look at the story, and it's just really funny because Weedman's like, where do you see that, James? Where does it say that? And you're like, read the standard, Jeremy. It was so funny. And that's AI, like interpreting it. Like,
Yeah.
hey, read the standard. And he's like, what standard do you read? And King James goes, read them all, Jeremy. It was so funny, but it's like Jeremy doesn't read nothing. So, you know.
Well, it goes back to, this is funny right here. Jeremy, he uploaded the audio, everything that took place in the podcast, and even AI who interprets it said, you're a freaking idiot.
Sure.
I mean, it can see that you don't know what you're talking about.
True.
And you come on here and talk smack to everybody and just, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, like you're saying, call me King Dipshit. You know, the reason that,
Yeah.
and everybody knows, you know why Bill and them call me King James? Just because of them.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with my
They
knowledge
started.
or anything like that.
Dude, you are the original King James, though. Like, because you were actually the original basketball player before LeBron
Yeah,
James.
yeah, I know we're in this category, but
Yeah.
I will say this: that got started as a joke, and it was started as a joke because of them and the ECD boys over there. And I'll tell everybody,
Dude, it's common knowledge, Jeremy. AI thinks you're a joke, dude.
well,
Like,
you need to post that thing you did up on the group for everybody to see what AI said about it. I'm gonna go listen to it tonight.
let me see.
I'm taking the night off after this. I'm freaking exhausted. I've been working way too many hours.
Yeah,
I don't know. You can't trace it. My eyes are just.
Yeah, no, dude. I mean, that's crazy. No, actually, let me see if I can find that story really quick because I sent it to you. I'm gonna copy it. Like, it's really funny. Like,
Well, I got it. I'll go over to Facebook and grab it where you sent it, and I'll provide the link for everybody to go to.
Yeah, let me see.
Pull it up
Copy
here.
link. No, I got it. I think I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see if it goes in. But it's really funny because
You actually sent me. You actually sent me 2 links.
yeah, the first one was I didn't catch it, but the second one, it's really funny because it was a bunch of different stuff that were arguing, and the thing that's funny is like everyone just argues a lot, like with this when it comes to this, and it's really funny because Jeremy has nothing. He literally has nothing. The only thing he has is, oh, he's not worse than us. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, don't you have to be better than somebody to be better than somebody? Why do you have to like worry about being worse?
It's like I've said many times. Won't you start your own podcast?
Yeah.
Won't you go out there and every week have to put something together and have a different myth and topics and
dude, I'll tear them down lower than me. What?
Yeah, illustration of the week, article of the week. I mean, we put so many different things on, and it's like I said, oh, y'all don't provide anything to the groups. The reason our groups are growing is because we actually provide stuff that people are interested in, Jeremy. ECD, y'all overalls, y'all do is anybody disagrees with you, you call them names and attack them.
Dude, you'd love this. You'd love this. So I put this post up there. My apprentice bent a box offset, and I was like, "Really? You call that a box offset, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah. What's wrong with it?" And I went and I put together this whole install and everything, and I took a picture of it. I was like, "Let's see what everyone else says is wrong with it," you know?
Yeah, that's right.
And then I was like, "Is that a box offset?" He's like, "Well, I don't know." And it was just really funny. So yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What the hell do you got here?
Oh, dude, cabinet, guys.
Ooh.
Oh, dude, this is horrible, man. Like, dude, they missed it by like 2 inches, like at least an inch and a half on that. Like, oh, dude, that is raptured cabinets. Like, dude, cabinet guys do not realize, like, if they cut that wrong, you're done, son. Like, what do you do? You know, I mean, to me, honestly, I'm like, what do you want me to do about this? Like, I didn't cut the hole. Like, that dude's a fucking idiot.
Wow. That is bad. That is
Yeah,
really bad.
I mean, he's way off. But really, honestly, like there's a lot of good cabinet guys out there. But a lot of times when they cut the holes, they cut them like to where they don't cut out our screw holes.
Yeah.
And it's like they're like, oh yeah, we cut out a hole. And it's like, dude, what? Like, I don't know. To me, honestly, I wanted this to be in Wall of Shame because this gentleman,
Charles Floyd.
yeah, he was like, hey, shout out to the cabinet guys on this one. It's like, dude, what do you do? Like, you basically have to replace the cabinet on this.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just fix that. You
That-
can't
that
just
is-
put wood. Can't just put wood back in. You know.
Man, that is really bad. Well, I've seen that before. That's not something
Yeah.
uncommon. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, you know, of course, Jeremy's gonna, you know, get mad and say that, you know, oh, you
Actually, at
teach-
one time I did, Jeremy. Guess where I taught at? Local 116. I taught apprenticeship. Yeah, I did. I taught third, then I did fourth, and then got too busy, and then I started teaching at places like NFPA for 30 years and teaching all their different stuff. And I taught at NASA, Department of Energy and Defense, all their different locations out at Los Alamos, I got tip of my tongue, Idaho National, Brookhaven, Sandia Labs, Pantex. I just sat here and go on Exxon Mobil, British Petroleum, Shell, Conoco, DuPont. Yeah. I don't know anything though. What the hell? I mean, they just hired me because they felt sorry for me, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, the normal thing is proof.
Yeah.
Like,
So the thing is that Jeremy, I teach apprentices now. I do, and I've done it since day one for the last over 30 years. You know, so I mean, I don't know what you're trying to prove here. You know, like,
well, you know, it's like I tell everybody, there's facts. And
yeah,
anybody that's been in the industry for a long time, that there's a lot of people on those groups and everything. They've been to my classes. They know who I am. They, you know, work for all these different facilities. People,
hey,
you know,
I have to stop this right now for cheers to Adam. Cheers to Adam. Team SOS is the podcast you go listen to. Team SOS is the, you know, awesome. Dude, your brother will love Team SOS. He's praising the Lord right now. Adam, badass Team SOS.
and I'll give some examples. Has Ryan ever taught for NFPA?
Nope.
No. Did Mike Holt ever teach for NFPA? No, he
Nope.
tried. Didn't work out. I know that for a fact.
Dude, he tried
because
to-
he doesn't
he
know
tried
what
to-
he's doing.
He
And-
tried to post to EC&M magazine. That barely worked out.
Well, how did he get on EC&M magazine?
You
Oh,
guys
I
gave
can
him a
tell you.
recommendation?
He got a recommendation from my dad. He called my dad and asked him if he could. You know, and and my dad come here and tell you, yeah, that happened. And Mike will probably tell you it happened too. You know, and when Jeremy sat in there, give proof. I don't have to give you no proof. I'm telling you what happened. And I know what happened. I'm gonna give
Dude,
y'all another good
100%. You
example.
could put number 14 on a 20 amp breaker on a dwelling AC, Jeremy. Don't act like you don't know that you can't do that. 100% you could do that all day, every day, and you're an idiot if you think you can just make that blanket statement and prove us wrong.
I'm gonna give you a good example. He wanted proof. Code making panel 14 at the time that dealt with hazard locations. He always says, "Well, the code making panels don't agree with you." And I said, "Well, I would argue that a lot of code making panel members that get put on certain panels and stuff, that they're just put on there by a company or organization or something. They don't have any background in it at all." And proof of that was when they My dad was put on as a special expert when they didn't allow special experts, except for special instances. And they put him on code making panel 14 that dealt with the hazardous locations. And they brought a whole bunch of other experts on there, and they got all the hazardous location stuff put in order, and they reset it all up and everything. And that was done as my dad was the chairman. And I was actually there collecting all the information, putting it together, sorting it out so we could set up task groups to get that stuff done right. But yet, we're always supposed to believe what the co-making panel members state and all of this when they screwed all of that up. And that happened. And NFPA can't deny that.
100%. So here we have an example. We have a general purpose branch circuit that's for lighting on a dwelling unit. We're going to come out with a 20 amp circuit. We're going to come out with number 12. We're going to hit a junction box in the ceiling, and then we're going to branch out to a whole bunch of other different stuff out in the dwelling unit. It's a general purpose branch circuit, and we're going to use number 14 to connect all that stuff. Show me a code that says that's illegal, Jeremy. Show me a code that says that's a violation.
Well, let me
I can't find
this.
one.
When you look at it, you probably should keep it number 12. That by code, the new codes that have been updated. I guess since about 2017. Say you have to, though? But when you go and you look in the field, which is when I was on this podcast, I tried to tell him they do it, and he told me they don't do that. And I said, that's why I told you need to get out of your elitist office, because I'm telling you right now they do it. And that used to be common practice to do it that way. Yeah. And the reason they did that was for connecting the devices and the fixtures. It was much easier for them.
Yeah. So one of the things that stood out to me.
Well, let me ask this one question for for Jeremy. If I came off of that 20 number 12 from the box and I went over to a fixture, will it still work? And if I
code does not say it has to be a number 12, Jeremy. That's making up.
I just got one little question for him. And I say I have a ground fault, anything. Will the overcurrent protection device recognize it still? Yes or no? That's it. And I know you're not going to say no, because I'm 100% correct. He's looking at 240.4D where he gets into small conductors.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you what they do, and I'm asking you the question. If I take and I have that number 12, corner number 14, will it function properly? See, he's not going to answer that. He's just going to keep coming in saying we don't know. And people that actually do electrical work know what I'm saying here is 100% accurate. Now, by code, there are some jurisdictions, I'll tell you right now, they'll tell you got to use number 12 all the way through. That's a fact. But there's other jurisdictions that allow you to use number 14 still to this day.
So I'm going to have a thing that I bring to every apprentice all the time. As far as like a challenge. All right, so if I have a 20 amp circuit, let's just say a 20 amp circuit. I put number 14, let's just say all the way from the panel. Number 14, 20 amp circuit. And I take number 14 all the way there. And I take let's just say it's a 240 volt circuit, right? And I have 2 hots and a ground. And I take both hots and I fucking slam them together, right? Is that breaker gonna trip?
There you go, Jeremy. Come on, give us an answer. See, it will, but it's not code compliant. See, that is the problem right there. There's nothing wrong with it, but yet you say there is. See, that is picking and choosing where you want to apply something. If I'm an inspector out in the field and I know that there's not going to be a problem with that, it's going to work, guess what? I'm not going to have a problem with it. As an AHJ, I can do that. But it's funny, 90.4 applies when they want it to. But if it doesn't go with the argument, then 90.4 doesn't apply.
True. And the thing is, like, we're teaching the next generation of electrical professionals in the world.
And see, I like this. Yet you claim to teach code. I don't.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
You take two hots, you slam them together.
You.
Is the breaker going to trip? Does it matter the freaking ampacity? Does it matter the gauge of wire? Like, that's...
Well, this is what gets me here. I just told you, by code, I agree, but that's not what happens. I'm telling you, there's certain jurisdictions that allow the exact type of installation I'm talking about. And yet, you're going to tell me it works perfectly fine, but I can't do it. Now, you tell an inspector that, what do you think he's going to say?
I'm interpreting the code like the way that I'm doing it. And guess what? It has nothing to do with what you say, Jeremy. So you're getting proven wrong right now, and it probably seems pretty embarrassing to you now.
Let me answer this, okay? When they had code making panel 14 had all that stuff wrong that was dealing with hazardous locations, I can tell you 100% fact, because my dad was actually out there talking to the hazardous location, and he said, no, that isn't right. You don't want to do that. And the hazardous location people in the oil refinery industries and chemical industries, they wasn't following what was there. And they had inspectors on site that allowed them to do what they needed to do. And I will say this, and I'll say it over and over, those people work with and design that equipment on a continuous basis and work on it daily. They know more than what those code making panel members do. That's why whenever they have to do a lot of custom made equipment in the field, they work with UL and others. And the reason UL works with them specifically is because they actually maintain that type of equipment and they give them insights to it, Jeremy. So just automatically sit here and say the inspector's a freaking idiot if he doesn't follow the code, that shows a bias right there when you're losing an argument and you won't accept that. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's really 100% real. And not only the bias, but you just have like the hatred towards the stall cubs, towards me, towards whatever. I don't know where this hatred comes from.
Let me get. So the NEC is irrelevant. Correct? No, I never said that. I never said that one bit. But I will say there are things that get put in the code that isn't correct. And I'm going to give you an example of one. There's no outlet at utilization equipment that's hardwired.
True.
There never was. This is something that was started by people that sell GFCIs. That's what it comes down to. And I can prove that fact by the simple fact that Thomas Dimitrovic said if we don't put it in the code, they won't use it. And he literally said that. Not us. He said it.
And I got 62554 deleted. And the Standards Council said, go off the manufacturer instructions.
Yeah, everything that gets put. How many times have you seen something be put in the code and then the next cycle they come and change it all because it wasn't correct? That has happened, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Just a fact. That's not hearsay. That has happened many, many times. And I've been out teaching classes before where I've even stated this is a problem in the code. I don't agree with what they did here, and I'd give my reason. And I said, but as right now, this is what it says. As an inspector or installer, whoever I was teaching at the time, I said, you need to look at this. And here in Texas, I used to do the BPI UTA, which is the Building Professional Institute. We had all the inspectors come around from Texas down to UTA, and I was the moderator, set up all the electrical classes and everything, since I don't do anything for the industry, and did it for free. Went over there for a whole week, and we would go over the code changes once every 3 years, and if we saw something we wasn't sure about, it was taken to the Council of Governors, and then they voted on it and override what the code said. That happened. That's not fact. I mean,
go look at 62554B getting deleted, Jeremy, and you will see that you guys got smoked in 2026, and me and King James are right.
Well,
you can't go against manufacturer instructions.
let me ask this, and he can answer this if he wants. So you tell us 210.8F applies no matter what, okay? Then how did the Standards Council keep them from putting GFCI protection on hardwired equipment if that's the case?
True.
Oh, that's right. It was based on product certification of the listing and labeling of the equipment. That's how it happened.
It was.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
100%.
hey, hold on a minute. Hold on. He says, okay, show me that was deleted specifically because there is no outlet.
Nobody said anything about that.
Hold on, Jeremy. Let's just say there's an outlet. How were they able to override it then?
Yeah.
Because 210.8 is supposed to override it anyway. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. They should have said there was an outlet there regardless.
Oh, what'd he say? They didn't. Oh, so you're telling me that I have to put GFCI right now on EVSC? Is that what you're saying?
Nope.
Is that what you're saying right now, stating to everybody that they have to do that, and 210.8F is overriding what the Standards Council said? Is that what you're saying to everybody on here watching right now that's going to be watching this later? Is that what you're saying?
Boat anchor.
On a dwelling unit. Is that what they said in the substantiation? I didn't read that.
No,
next week we may have to bring that up and show everybody.
Yeah.
We'll here. Let me do this real quick so I can screenshot, and we'll pull that up for everybody to see that you said only on a dwelling unit. I didn't read that.
Yeah, so that's what 210.8F is basically based on. But I mean, that's fine. But
Let me ask another question.
They didn't say anything about location on the Standards Council. They upheld the appeal that they said the code making panel members failed to substantiate adding outlet to 625.54. And that's why they put it back to the original text. I thought it was awesome because I was like, oh, really? They failed to substantiate it when it was passed unanimously all the way through all the cycles? Everyone's like, oh, Bill's screwing up all the code process, and oh, man, all the EV's going to be all screwed up. Then now, all of a sudden, the Standards Council comes up, rejects it. Now you're all mad. Oh, man, no, it got back to the original text. Yeah, because you guys got proved wrong.
I've got a question. Is there some type of hazard that we're not aware of that you would receive in a residential unit at a dwelling unit compared to some other place? Is there some mysterious hazard that's available we're not aware of, Jeremy? Because I didn't read that. I mean, come on now. Let's talk facts here. This goes back to picking and choosing when you're losing the argument, son.
He didn't have enough time in the woodshed, I guess, last time you took him there.
You don't want to go back to that again. You were. Yeah. I mean, even AI was like, "Golly, man, Jeremy looked bad." King James wore him out.
It was rough, dude. It was rough. Like I watched it, and the thing that was so crazy was there was a certain point where he just gave up, and it's like,
oh yeah,
all right, whatever, Like I guess that's what you do in Minnesota.
I encourage everybody to go watch it because you'll see the truth. I said exactly the truth, and he didn't like it, and that's when he started shutting up, and he was ready to go.
True.
All right, let's wrap it up. I'm getting hungry.
Hey, one last one for. Hey, you know what? I love doing this show. I love talking code with you, sir. And thanks so much for putting this together. It means a lot. Thanks so much, Jeremy, for basing. Basically,
we appreciate the amusement on this channel.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, so awesome. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. As always, remember, make every day easy day. We're out.
Everybody have a good weekend.
2 hours. Almost 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. All right, peace.